opportunity to go out and win the Border Championship today. Are you going to be able to wrap it up?
Hopefully. The car's going good and good navigator here with me, so we're going to try our hardest. The conditions are a bit wet at the minute, but might dry up. Yeah, we're going to go for it.
Had a good year.
Good year, yeah. Come back there after a few halves and made up for it. So we're here to do the job if we can.
Camilla, this is your first year back rallying in a long time. How are you enjoying it?
Well, I have 2 years, I suppose, off now. Oh, it's good. I've enjoyed it, really. I always enjoyed it. I'm enjoying the same again now, but it'll just take a wee while to get back into the swing of going as hard as the rest of these boys.
What are your expectations for today's event?
I have known.
Just out to have a good time.
I'd like to beat anybody in the same class, but it mightn't be easy. So we'll just have to try our best and see how it goes.
Paul, this is your local rally. Would you know the stages well?
I know them. I've done them at Donegal before, so it's good stages. I like Brina. It's a good stage.
So you're a bit confident and pushing hard today?
I like the wet as well, so hopefully everything goes well. You never know.
Seamus, a lot of the drivers seem to be panicking about tyres this morning. Were you having that problem?
The tyre choice was always going to be difficult with the weather. Whether it was wet enough or dry enough, it's just hard to figure it all out.
Had you done your recce on the dry?
Yeah, we done the recce lucky enough last week on the rain on the Sunday, so that helped us a bit because we had a lot of bits marked in slippy, so we were very just to be cautious over them. Like.
Martin, you had a few aims before you started rallying this year to win the Billy Coleman Award and to win your class. How do you feel the year went for you?
Happy with the year. I set out this year to win the Toshiba Championship. We did that down in Cork, so we're happy enough. We're here in Donegal now, just for the crack. Last rally of the year, so we're happy.
You're here for the crack, but you're lying second in your class. Do you not think you might push on to get a first place?
I don't think so. We might. We'll see how it happens.
Stage 1, Brina, is approximately 8 miles long, very fast flowing with some nice tight junctions, but very slippy after the overnight rain. Tyre choice will be critical on this opening stage. First, Class 13 seed is Seamus Donnelly and Paul Garry, who set a very high standard with driving like this. Camillus Bradley shows no signs of being rusty here after his long layoff from rallying. A tidier line is taken by Paddy Boyle and Marty Sherlock, who are in contention for the championship against Mac McKenna. The jumping Corolla of Paul Gallagher and Carl Reid is hoping to take a local victory. Martin McGee and Damien Crawford unsteady their escorts, but gets away with it.
Caution to left, turn tight, square right over bump, don't cut. And 230 uphill. Lovely. 230.
Damien Gallagher and Mac Walsh are also on home ground and will be an amazing second overall after 2 stages. The very experienced Trevor Lancashire is pushing his escort to the limits to make his visit to Donegal a victory. Gordon Rogers and Philip McAtee are also determined to make an impression on the leaders in Class 13. Northerner Robbie Peoples and navigator Keith Stewart are also in a highly competitive Class 13 with a lot at stake today. Sliding wide and almost overcooking it is PJ McDermott, but managed to hold it in the extremely slippery conditions.
3 right over bump, repeat 3 right, 150, 2 right plus, over bump on crest, car now, 2 right plus 40, 6 left, 60.
Thomas and Kevin McGovern have had a mixed year and are putting it up to the border regulars. Spectacular as always, Peter Rogers always delivers when it comes to putting in a competitive drive. Fighting for the overall honours is Enda Keenan and Sean Moriarty. In the Border Championship, the pressure is on. Pat Bonner and Derek Montgomery use every inch of the road in their Class 12 escorts. Seamus Hegarty, meanwhile, takes a neater line into this very fast junction. Drew Hunter and Victor Hunter entertain spectators young and old. One of the first cars to break the escort domination is a Civic of Danny McBride and PJ Kelly.
Four left, four right, and one left, one right over bump. One right, five left, 40. That's it, keep it on her.
The highly successful Thomas and John O'Rourke show their usual flair and are fighting for border championships today. PJ Gallen throws their hired escort around with plenty of gusto.
Five left deceptive at the sign, five left deceptive at the sign over crest. And you have four right over bump. Four right over bump. 150.
Conserving his position in the class and not making any wild moves is Martin Brown and John Kilmurray. The rapid starlet of Pat Shields is also on home territory and looking for that class win. The wet and slippery conditions suit Sean Murphy and Paul Gallagher as they fight for Class 12 victory.
Seamus, how are you finding the stages?
Yeah, well, we've 2 stages done now, and it's been good for us. We are, I think, 1 second up on Camillus, who's in our class, so that's not so bad. But it's difficult because this tarmac, the substance of the tarmac, it's grippy and sometimes it's slippy, and you start to push, and then the next thing you come across a slippy junction, and then you have to slow again. So it's just keeping it all together and keeping your head down and hoping for the best.
Will you be able to judge it better as the day goes on?
Yeah, well, we've now, with it not raining, we're going to have a go here at slicks, so whether it works or not, but if you don't take a chance, you don't know.
Martin, how did you find this morning?
Very slippy, nice stages. Would love to get her recce done, but they're very nice stages now.
How are you finding it not having recce done?
It's good. Good navigator there. It's not too bad.
A risky business for you too.
It is, yeah. It's good fun though.
Stage 5 starts out with a very tricky set of hairpins before reaching many of the big jumps throughout the stage as it continues on its way to the very flat-out straight to the finish. Seamus Donnelly and Paul Gary continue to set the pace in their Coal-Bar Escort. The slick tyres seem to be working quite well. Chasing hard is Camillus Bradley and Danny O'Neill, keeping the pressure on Donnelly as they begin to set some good times. Paddy Boyle and Martin Sherlock are not holding back over this big jump. Paul Gallagher is one of the highest jumpers by far, showing his local knowledge, but sadly he will retire later on. While Martin McGee and Damien Crawford try the same style.
One right, stay middle, go on, and right into 3 left. Into caution, 3 right, tight over crest jump, keep turning, and 1 left. Over a bump, 40.
Gordon Rogers and Philip McEntee are taking no chances as valuable points are at stake today. Damien Gallagher, having set the fastest time over stage 2, picks up a puncture on this stage, and that drops him way down the leaderboard. While Trevor Lancashire and Noel Hall bring their escort home in 28th place. PJ McDermott lifts the leg on this junction as we go on board the escorts.
Tight 3 right, keep in. Now watch it is slippy. Watch it. Tight 3 right and 3 left. Keep in to 3 left. 80, 6 left. Over bump to 4 right, keep in. Watch 4 right, keep in. 60, 6 left. 100.
Andy Keenan charges on with championship and rally lead well within his grasp. PJ Gallen still takes some tuition and negotiates the Donegal stages with style.
Down here, caution 4 left over bad bumps in the bushes. Caution 4 left over bad bumps down here in the bushes. Caution 4 left over bad bumps. 130. Small crest, bump, 130.
Pat Bonner keeps the famous family name in good order with a fine drive to finish 21st overall. Seamus Hegarty having a great battle all day with Gordon Rogers for Class 13 honours. Peter Rogers is definitely not afraid of heights. Raymond Drury and Kieran Kelly battles it out with the locals in Class 12. Carl Moore is well placed on the leaderboard despite a very poor seeding.
Come on, fifth gear, come on. Watch the bumps. At the bridge. Keep going. Brake now. Go fast. Good lad, 200.
Always a regular on the national scene is Adrian Fox, who's also going for the Border Series today. Drew Hunter attacks this hairpin with perfect driving style and secures 22nd overall. Robbie Peoples is no stranger to the Donegal terrain, and his competitive times reflect this. It's great to see James Cullen back on the rally scene, as he has a great battle all day with the young drivers in his class. Terence McHugh never fails to impress with that extra horsepower fitted for today's event. Trevor Graham locks up his Suzuki Swift in these very slippy conditions.
5 right, 1 left, 1 right, 40, 2 right, 100, right over bump junction, slippy, very slippy down here now. Right over bump junction, slippy here now, think forward.
Local hero Daniel Connahan and Lee McLaughlin in their 1300 Escort set some remarkable times trying to take the border honours. PJ Bonner slides his Escort around this junction, but with so many problems all day, he finishes way down the leaderboard. Noel Lappin decided to enter one of his own cars for this event, and it pays off to finish 51st overall. Martin Brown makes a good recovery from this near overshoot. A good year for Martin as he wins his class in the International Rally. Bernard McGinley and Raymond Scott in their starlet jump high and make sparks fly. And the leaders after stage 5. Damien Gallagher's in 5th, Robbie Peoples is in 4th, Gordon Rogers 3rd, Camillus Bradley 2nd, and Seamus Donnelly is in 1st.
And how are you enjoying it?
Enjoying it good, yeah. We seem to be going okay. Evans going, just that last stage was cancelled, so we're looking forward to 2 left. If we can hold it together, we could be there. We're not just sure at the minute now what the guy in our class, how he finished up there in that last one, but we're going well.
Hopefully you should have the Border Championship wrapped up.
So hopefully, you know, you never, as Eamon McKenna says, it's not over till the fat lady sings. So hopefully she starts to sing in the next hour.
Stage 8, Carnone, a nice flowing stage with plenty of challenging junctions and hairpins, with some really high-speed straights. Not one for the faint-hearted. Despite their puncture, Damien Gallagher and Mac Walsh finished their home rally 24th overall. Camillus Bradley is fully committed on this junction and must be happy with himself to claim 27th place. Gordon Rogers slides his Escort around with ease with a brilliant performance to finish 12th. Trevor Lancashire shows us how perfectly balanced the suspension setup is in his Escort. Fully committed and almost out of control is the sheer speed of the Escort of Martin McGee.
Titans late into 3 left. 40. 4 right, stay in. 2 left over bumps. And 3 right plus over bumps, stay in. 170.
Raymond Drury takes a cutting line on this jump. Peter Rogers follows over the same jump and gets the sparks flying. A hard-charging Enda Keenan and Sean Moriarty are heading for overall Border Championship points. Pat Bonner throws his escort broadside and almost gets caught out on the gravel. Drew and Victor Hunter jumped their way to 22nd overall. While Robbie Peoples secures 17th place and 3rd in Class 13. Carl Moore, despite that low seeding position, is still performing very well all day.
Crest 60. One right 60. One right crest at 60. Four right tightens.
Another low seeding is Adrian Fox, who's hoping to do well today and take the Border Championship. Seamus Hegarty and John O'Donnell have a great battle all day with Gordon Rogers to finish 16th. Always spectacular to watch, Terence McHugh and Tony Boyle. There was no one to touch Daniel Colohan and Lee McLaughlin all day in Class 9, a great achievement with 18th overall. Adrian McElhinney is not happy unless he's getting a better look at the Donegal scenery. Shane McEnany and Thomas Traynor slide their way into 50th place. While Trevor Graham keeps pushing his Suzuki Swift to the limit.
One left, one right, bumpy. Watch us, wild bumpy now. Open square right at the bottom. Bumpy, open square right, easy. Give her going, 60. 3 right, 1 right. 3 right, 1 right, 1.
The great James Cullen has stepped down to a Honda Civic just for the fun of it. Chasing the Billy Coleman Award this season is Martin Brown and John Kilmurray. Paul Reed is most spectacular in his beautiful Mark II Escorts. And the top 5 modified times in the Donegal Harvest Rally. In 5th place, Martin McGee. In 4th, Daniel Conahan. In 3rd, Robbie Peoples. 2nd place was Seamus Hegarty. And in 1st, Gordon Rogers. And so to the Border class winners. A good drive all year for James McKenna to finish 3rd in Class 1. Followed by Trevor Graham and Stephen Fury to finish 2nd overall in class, but a fine performance by Paddy Walker and Damien Doherty to secure a 1st overall. John Gallagher and Damien Duffy have a satisfactory finish of the year in 3rd place, and what a year it has been for Martin Brown and John Kilmurray, 2nd in their class in the Border and 2nd overall in the National Championship. A great achievement, but the winner in Class 2 goes to Danny McBride and PJ Kelly, despite this little excursion. Sideways, Declan and Ronan Moore are secure in 3rd place. The high-revving Honda of Thomas Taff finishes the year 2nd overall in Class 3. But it's the untouchable O'Rourke's who secure that 1st place in the Border Championship. Paul Cleary handbrakes his little micro to 3rd overall. Sligo man Kenneth Mulvaney in the car secures a worthy 2nd place. But letting it all hang out is Kieran Henry and Aidan Gannon to take 1st overall. In this beautifully prepared Honda Civic, Trevor Morrow finishes the year 3rd in Class 6. Daniel Smith and Mark Tierney are on the rev limiter to hold on to 2nd in class. Shane Feely and Jim McGrath slide their way home in their Puget 106 to take victory. A good year for Mayo Club members John Duffy and John Egan to secure 2nd in the Quinn Group Border Championship. Despite stalling their car here, Brian Doherty and Michael O'Kane are this year's Class 7 winners in the Border Championship. Seen here in Mayo, Andre Roberts takes 3rd in Class 9. And And a great result for Donal McGettigan and Gareth Doherty in their high-revving Nova. Noel Lappin and Paul Purtill were not holding back all year, and it shows they take first overall. Monaghan man Shane McEnany shows how to get his escort around this junction to secure a third place in Class 10. Locking up is Gregory McQuillan and Niall Kelly. In the very slippery conditions, they take second. But it's the extremely experienced James and Joe Cassidy in their Renault to take a most convincing victory. Flying in their powerful escort, John McCabe and Donald Crossan take third in Class 11. While Robbie Peoples and Keith Stewart in another escort secure second. Regular national competitors Peter Rogers and Brian Davidson prove that they can win Class 11. A good year for Brian Armstrong to secure a third in the Border Championship, while Raymond Drury and Kieran Kelly in another escort take the runner-up spot. But with driving like this, Trevor Lancashire and Noel Hall take first overall in Class 12. The highly tuned Peugeot of Mac McKenna has to settle for third overall in Class 13. Always spectacular to watch, Paddy Boyle and Martin Sherlock claim that second place. But with a great battle all year, it's this man, Norman Armstrong, that takes victory in Class 13. A neat performance all year has paid dividends for Pat and Colin McCafferty to achieve third in Class 14. Seamus McCusker makes it all worth his time to secure second place. And the extremely experienced PJ Bonner must be happy with his convincing win in Class 14. In the overall Quinn Border Championship, third place goes to Adrian Fox and Philip Tobin. A great drive all year secures runner-up spot for Daniel Conahan and Lee McLaughlin. Following a season of superb class results throughout the championship, Enda Keenan and Sean Moriarty win this year's Quinn Group Border Rally Championship for the second year in a row. Next week, we bring you some more rally action from the concluding rounds of the Ford Focus Championship. Don't miss all the action, right here. And we've more